Hey everybody, what is up and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to talk about the Sniperblade Works Mamu outdoor survival knife, whatever you want to call it. So stay tuned. We're going to dive into this blade and show you all about it. Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I got a super cool knife. It is wintertime, it is cold out here, but I like doing these videos outdoors as much as possible, so I wanted to get out here and make this knife. This is my first knife review of the new year, and I thought this would be a super cool blade to do. I've had this blade for a few months now, and I've been carrying it every day on my property, just using it for just everyday tasks that I do out here, and it's been super awesome. And this knife is the Sniperblade Works Mamu. Now this thing comes with a super nice Kydex sheath, which you can reverse your clip on it. It's got a nice clip that you can open and close and lock. That's one of the features that I love about it, is that I don't have to take off my belt to do it, and I can just put it in there, clip it closed, lock it, and I'm gone. And I really love that feature on it. I think it's a great feature, that tech lock feature on it. And the ambidextrous case is really nice. It holds the blade in there really well and stuff, which is really nice, and it has a really good solid click to it. So you can really lock in there, and it holds it in there really good, which is really nice. And it's got a thumb ramp, and you can, like I said, you can make it left or right-handed. I changed mine around because I'm left-handed. But here's the knife, and check that thing out. That thing is super cool. I really just like the design of this. I like the feel of this knife. I like the fact that you can really choke up on it, which is really cool as well. So if you're doing that smaller task stuff, it really gives you control over the blade. But it also, this is one of the few knives that I actually will do some chopping with, because it has that weight and it has a nice thickness on it as well that you can do a little bit of chopping with. So it's pretty impressive blade. But let's read off the specs first. We'll do a little bit of woodwork, which I got to get some wood over there out of the pile because I forgot to put a couple sticks right here. We'll do a little bit of wood stuff, and then we'll do a little bit of chopping over there, and we will wrap this video up. So let's read the specs first. Let's get the specs. So the specs of this knife is, it's a 1095 carbon steel. It's a 0.2 inch thickness on the blade. Ambidextrous handle. It has G10 handle scales. And the blade length is 5.46 inches. So that's pretty much the specs on the knife. It does come in this interesting packaging, which is this paper packaging, and it's like that. It says Mamu on the back, but this packaging isn't very strong, because at least it came in another package as well, because it actually busted through on there. So I think they either need to make stronger packaging or put it in a box. I prefer my knives to come in a nice solid box. It was a cool concept, but I don't think it works really well, because like I said, this busted through. The knife was busted through it when I got it. And I can't remember if it came in a box, or it came like in a like shipping box, or it came in an envelope. I think it was a shipping box, but either way, it busted right through there. So I would prefer them to do a really cool box with this design on it versus this paper thing. But that's just my opinion. Some people may like this. I don't like this. I don't think it's a good design. It obviously doesn't hold up to shipping at all, because look at that, it blew up. So that's one thing that I think they need to work on. But as far as the knife goes, it has a great weight and feel. It's super awesome. It does have the dang divots on both sides for using a bow drill, which we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, and my thoughts on that. And we're going to talk about one of the things that, the only thing, like, I love this knife. It's a great knife, and I've been using it every day, and I really enjoy it, and I think it's a great design. But there is one thing that I think they messed up on. Not really messed up on, but they forgot to do that they should have done, because this is supposed to be like a outdoorsy, survival, bushcrafty type blade is what I think they were going for, especially because they put the divots on there. But they left something out on this blade, and we're going to talk about that, and it has to do with the spine. All right, and we will discuss that in a second. But I'm going to do some woodworking, and then I'll talk about it, because I want to do the positives first. I want to show you what this thing can do as far as the little woodsy things that I would do with it and stuff, as far as things go. And then we'll talk about everything that I like about it and everything that I hate about it. So I'm going to run over here and grab a couple sticks, because I forgot to grab them, and then we're going to come back. We're going to do a a little bit of woodsy stuff, do a little bit of chopping. Then we'll talk about all the pros I like about it. And there's literally only one thing that I don't like about it. It's not a con as it's a bad thing, but it's something that if you're gonna do this, you should have done that. So we'll get into that in a minute. Let's get some wood and do some wood tasks. All right, everybody, so I'm back. I got my wood now, and let's do some wood tasks. Let's do some feather sticks first, and then we'll do a point and we'll do a notch so you guys can see that. But I think this knife, I haven't done any feather sticks with it, but I think it'll do feather sticks pretty good because it kind of digs in there. So let's see what we can create. It's definitely this wood is hard. Maybe I was wrong. No, it's getting there. Yeah, it's some hard wood right here, buddy. We are getting some sticks out of it. A little bit harder than some other knives, I'll say that. There we go. Now we're rolling. Now we're cooking with Crisco. There we go. Got to get that edge geometry right. You know. So there you go. We can do some little feather sticking with it. That's cool. Let's work on the other side a little bit so we can really push it down there. Oh, that came off. Let's see what we do here. Well, it came through, but there's some more. Not as easy as I thought it was going to do. Let's try the other end, or let's try a different stick. Let's see if we can do something with this one. Not as easy as I thought it was. I haven't done any feather sticks with it. Oh, there we go. You got to get that edge geometry. There we go. It's all about that right edge geometry to get it done. It's cold out here. Alright, so there you go. We're getting some feather sticks out of it now. It's just me getting the right edge geometry on it. But yes, it can do some feather sticks, which is really cool. I think you can do some notches pretty good. Let's do this. Chop that right off. So let's put a notch in this. So let's try a notch. So let's go right here. Let's go right there. See if we can notch that out. Let's see what we can do there. Am I on a knot right there? I might be on a knot right there, but let's see if we can get a notch. This blade, definitely you got to get the edge on it. And are we notch happy yet? Nope, gotta go a little bit more. I like to get a good notch for you guys. Alright, so there you go. We got us a little notch. So it can do some notching. Now let's do like a spear point, I guess, is what we'll do on this. I don't think this grip is going to work because that is in the way. So I don't think you're going to be able to do that reverse grip. I think you're going to have to go this way with it. But you can choke up on it, which is nice. Alright, I haven't done anything with this knife, but I'm going to tell you, I've been doing like normal things. I haven't been doing anything like that. I've been chopping branches and things like that and slicing some stuff with no problems, but I haven't spent any time trying to do any of this stuff. And I'm going to say that it will do it, but it doesn't do it as well as other knives I had. Now, there's a point, so it will make a point. So there's your point. So we got feather sticks, we got notch, we got a point. And this has a really good edge on it, but I'll tell you, that's a lot harder to do than it is to do with my Joker. My Joker really slices through better, you know, which I've done some chopping with this. I haven't done any of that stuff. This is the first time you see me do it with that. I've chopped up some branches and done some stuff like that, and done some normal just like little cutting tasks, trimming limbs and things like that with it. But haven't really done any of that stuff. Let's see if we can do like a fine shavings. Let's see if we can get some fine shavings. Yeah, it's gonna do some nice little shaving curls. Look at that. There you go. It's definitely getting that edge down. Getting that edge. There we go. That's what it likes. So let's see. We're gonna do some fine shaving stuff because that's important. You got to be able to get that tender. And this is doing this pretty good. So a good slicing motion across, hitting a knot there. And getting that edge, it's all that edge, trying to find that right edge for this. I'm gonna tell you, that's the key. And then when you get that right edge, when you get it right on that right edge, you're gonna do a bunch of little ones here. All right, so it did do that pretty well. So you guys can see. So it did do some really good shavings there, so that's good. You know, I like the feel of this knife, but it's definitely, you definitely got to work on your, let's see if we can do some better curls than I did last time. Yeah, it's definitely about that edge. The way that edge is, you got to get it. Which I think that's probably with every knife. But now that I'm getting the hang of it more, yeah, see, that was a lot better. That was a lot better. I'm not the best curl maker either, you know, because I'm not a bushcrafter. I'm not a bushcrafter. I'm not a survivalist. That's not what I do. I'm no expert at this stuff, and I say that all the time. But that gave us some good curls. So, just what I'll say is you got to really just focus on how that edge needs to be, and then once you find that spot, you'll start getting some decent curls out of it, which is nice. So it's just finding that edge. It's just finding an edge, and it's working fine. But let's go do some splitting over here and split some stuff, some chopping stuff, or maybe we'll do some chopping stuff right here on the table. Now we'll go do it over there, and then we'll come back to this. So let's go do some chopping over there, and then we'll come back to here. All right, everybody, we're here at my little chopping stump, and we're gonna start off with some small stuff, and just show you that you can hold back here on this and get some pretty good wax. I mean, that pretty much went through it in one shot, and if you hit it a little bit harder, you can see that that's chopping something about that thick pretty easy. So let's try a little bit thicker one. Let's see here. We'll just get a better swing on it and see what we can do here. Yeah. There we go. So let's see. So yeah, that chops that pretty good. Now let's do something a little bit bigger. Let's see what it's going to take to chop through this sucker. That destroyed that. So that's actually, oh, let me grab that. That's a pretty thick piece of wood right there. So that's pretty good. So let's try another one. We got this one right here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, that took that right out. So yeah, so this thing is a pretty darn good chopper. Hold on, let me stick it in there. Like that. So that chopped all that stuff pretty darn good, and that's pretty much the size of something I would be chopping with this. I don't think I would chop anything bigger, but it definitely handled that really well. So let's go back over to my little bench over there, and let's wrap this video up. Okay, everybody, so you saw how it chopped. It actually chopped really good. This thing definitely will chop some wood pretty darn good. You saw how it did some feather sticks. You saw how it did a notch. Like I said, I'm not the best feather sticker out there, but I do try to show you that it can do it. I think you can do the I think you can do feather sticks and notching pretty well. Not quite as easy as I thought it was going to be, considering that, like when I used my Joker knife and stuff like that, it was a lot easier to do that. But as a whole, I do like this knife. Do I think it's the end-all, be-all knife? I do not. But I do like it as a bigger knife that's a beefier knife for doing like chopping, more type chopping tasks or heavier tasks. You know, if I was trying to like maybe chop this out or something, this is a great knife to be able to kind of trim something out like that. If you were trying to do something of this nature, take it down. It doesn't take a whole lot to do that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and keep hacking on it, but my point being is that, you know, like if you're doing that kind of task, this handle is really good to go back on and really get that chopping task, and it does cut really well. It does slice really well. And again, when we were doing these, once I got the hang of where the edge geometry, you can see that edge geometry. Now I'm really cruising with that and really able to kind of cruise along with it and create some really nice tinder, which is good, and that's what you want to be. So but I try to show you, I mean, just the basics of what this can do, as far as what I would use it for. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys out there will do a lot different things with it, but as a whole, I feel like the knife is very comfortable in the hand. I like the fact that you got this long grip and you got the short grip. I like the fact that it's kind of beefy and thick, so you can do some smaller chopping tasks if you need to. Plus, you could do food prep with this. I guarantee you, you can prove, because this got this high grind on it. I think you could probably food prep with this really good as well. But just as a good beefier knife to have, I think it's a pretty good knife. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The one thing that I didn't like about this knife, and that's the fact that it did not come with a 90 degree spine. Now, you guys are trying to create supposedly a survival type knife or bushcraft type knife is what this is, the category it's supposed to fall into. And I say that because they put a damn bow drill divot in it. So they're trying to appeal to the survival bushcraft community. And with that being said, if you're going to put a bow drill divot on it because you expect people to start fires, you should be putting a 90 degree spine on it. And the reason why I say that is because not even, I mean, it's just about 1% or 1% of the population even knows how to start a fire with a bow drill, or can start a fire with a bow drill. And that's in the world. That's not just like in the USA. There's about 1% of the population in the world that actually knows how to use a bow drill to start a fire. So it's kind of, to me, it's very pointless to put a bow drill divot in it because there's such a small, minute group of people that actually know how to use that. I think it's much more important, if you're creating a survival type knife, to put a 90 degree spine on it so somebody can use that to spark a ferro rod. And the other thing that you can do with a 90 degree spine that you can't do with one is out is you can actually shave wood. And I'll show you. I can actually, if you guys watch here with this, I can literally see how this looks and see what I'm doing. I can strip the bark off with my 90 degree spine, and I'll show you. I can get down to the, I can create tinder, more tinder for me with my 90 degree spine, or shave off. Alright, so there you go. See, I just stripped all that bark off of there. So you guys can see that with the 90 degree spine. And I also created more tinder in the process to start a fire. You can't do that with a knife that doesn't have that 90 degree spine on it. So that 90 degree spine comes in way more handy for doing stuff like that and using a ferro rod, because if you have a ferro rod, which I have here and stuff, I can pull that out and throw sparks to start a fire. So the 90 degree spine comes in handy and has more utility purpose than this bow drill divot, you know. And I am 53 years old. I've spent my whole life in the woods, camping, hunting, fishing, being a guide, doing search and rescue, and all kinds of other stuff that have to do with being out in the wilderness. And I've never used a bow drill or learned how to use a bow drill in my life. I know how to use a ferro rod, I know how to use a lighter, and I can get fire started, and I've been able to start fires in pretty extreme situations and have never needed a bow drill divot in a bow drill to do it. And the other thing about with a bow drill is that you have to have the right wood and the right conditions to make that work. And if any of you guys have watched the Alone series, you've seen that guys struggle. People that are really into that struggle making a fire. And there was one guy that's how he counted on doing his fire, and the only thing that saved him was the fact that he found a cutting board that was the right piece of wood so he could create that fire. So it's not realistic at all for people to assume that everybody knows how to use a bow drill and stuff. Does it look cool? Yeah. Does it appeal to the bushcraft survival community? It does. But most people do not know how. Most people in the world do not know how to use a bow drill to start a fire. They don't know what woods you need to have, what type of wood you need to use to create that, to make that happen. And is it a great thought to think that you could privately go out and start a fire? It's awesome. But is it a reality? It is not. So my suggestion to Sniperblade works is, hey, put the bow drill divot in it for those people that know how to use a bow drill, but put a 90-degree spine on this knife too, because that is the one place where this knife failed, in my opinion, is that it has no 90-degree spine. Now, you could put one on there. You could easily grind one on there if you want to, but you shouldn't have to do that. If you're creating a outdoor bushcraft survival tool, then you should have a 90-degree spine on it, and you can put the bow drill divot in if you want to or not. But I think that bow drill divot is pretty much useless to most of the population of the world. It only appeals to about 1% of the population. So you would be better off putting a 90-degree spine on it and not putting that bow drill divot in there, and that's my opinion on it. And that's the only thing that I dislike about this knife, is that it does not have a 90-degree spine, and that was the one thing that was disappointing on it. I'm probably going to eventually grind one on there myself, so it does have one. But as far as the fit and finish and the coating on this and the feel of this knife, I do like this knife. I do like it a lot. And for just regular everyday cutting camp task and doing what I kind of do around my property, this is a cool extra blade to have, because when I need something a little bit bigger to kind of chop and hack things a little bit more and stuff, I like having this blade. I like the feel of it. I like the weight of it. I think it does have a purpose, but is it the end all be all? No. Is this the knife that I would go, like if I had to grab one knife and this was the only knife that I was going to have and I was going to go out and have to survive in the wilderness with, this would not be it. This would not be it. I would take my Joker Trampero, this one right here, that I have right here, over this one any day of the week and stuff. This one is much more versatile, and I just love this Joker, and it's one that I carry so much, and probably out of all my Jokers, I carry this one the most. And it just does everything that I needed to do and then some. But I do like having a little bit bigger blade around to do some chopping and some bigger tasks with, which this is nice with. Now, can you baton with this? You sure can. It's plenty thick enough to baton with. I don't do batoning, so that's why I didn't do any batoning on this show. So if you guys are wondering about the batoning aspect of this, there are some people that have done reviews where they did baton with this, so you can go watch their stuff if you want. But as far as my recommendation for this knife, if you want something super cool and unique and a little bit different in your knife collection, sure, I would pick this up. Do I think this is the knife that I would take if it's the only, I can't get the stick, if it's the only knife I can grab? It is not. I do like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a good knife. I think it's a great knife to have in my collection. I actually do carry this knife every day around the property. Like when I go out and check my SD cards, because I love this clip and I like having a little bit bigger blade, I just clip it on the back, but I always have my Joker with me as well. I always have a Joker knife or a knife like a Joker with me as well. So I kind of carry a multitude of stuff, but you know, this is my, when I go out at night, because I have bears and bobcats, all kinds of crazy stuff on my property, this is one that I clip on my belt as well, because having that little bit beefier blade sometimes can come in handy. So you know, for me, it is a win, because I do like it. But as far as do I think it's the end all beat all super all, and I think you should run out and go buy one? I wouldn't say that. I think it's a cool knife. I really like it. I think it's very well made, And I think that with a little bit of refinement of putting that 90-degree spine on there, I think they'll have something that's really going to appeal more to people. But this knife is also pretty expensive. It's $195. Now, you can find it on Smoky Mountain Knife Works sometimes on sale for like $169. That's what I paid for, was $169. But I'll show you, I don't know if you guys can see this right here on the package or not, but there's the price tag, $195. So it's also a pretty expensive knife. And when it comes down to it, there are better knives out there for a lot less money. And that's not a dig on the build quality of this knife at all, but there are, I think, better knives out there than this one in this size range as well, that will definitely, you will get more value out of it as well. And like I said, it wasn't as easy to do these tasks on this wood as it is with some of the other knives that you guys have seen reviews on. So getting that excuse me, getting that edge geometry right to do those tasks with this knife was a little bit trickier, not as easy. As you saw, you guys have seen my other videos where I have no problem at all doing stuff, and this one wasn't performing as well as like the Jokers do. So, and it's not that it doesn't have a really nice sharp edge, because it does, but I think this has a specific place in it. I think it's very unique, so that's what I like. I like the design. I really do like the design. I think the design is really cool, and I like the feel of the knife. But I do think it might need, a little bit more refinement. But I'm not a knife maker either. I'm just a guy that likes to spend time in the woods. That's it. I'm not a bushcrafter, not a survivalist. These are just my thoughts, my opinions on this knife. I do think it's very cool, and that's one of the things that drew me to it. I mean, that design is really, really cool. So if you want something cool and unique that's a little bit different in your arsenal of knives, yeah, I would definitely pick this up. But it is pricey. I mean, $195, that's a chunk of change, especially when you can get a Joker or an SE or something along that lines for less money. And we all know that the SEs are really good knives, but some of the SEs, they don't have 90-degree spines either. So you have to figure out what you need that blade for. For me, knives are tools, and there isn't an end-all be-all knife for me. There isn't one that's an end-all be-all knife. I actually carry 4 blades on me minimum every day, because I use them for different tasks, and one of those being a multi-tool. I always have a multi-tool on me, and honestly, if I had to get dropped off in the middle of nowhere and they said you only got one option, it would be a Leatherman. It would be a multi-tool that I would take over anything, because that has more versatility than any knife you're ever going to have, and there's different levels of Leathermans, but the Leatherman itself, or a good multi-tool, will serve you way better than any of this stuff. But that's just my opinion, and that's a whole nother story. So my final thoughts on this knife, it's a pretty cool knife. It will do the tasks that you need to do. It is a really good chopper, I think, for doing some beefier work. I think it'll do food prep really well. The handle is really comfortable. Like I said, I like the fact that you can really choke up on that thing, and you can get back here for hacking tasks and stuff. It needs a 90-degree spine. I think every knife should have a 90-degree spine. That's just my personal opinion. I could do without the bow drill divot, because not even 1% of the population knows how to use a bow drill. So this is very pointless to me, and this is just appealing to a small group of people that actually know how to do that. And if you want to put it on there, that's fine, because then you can appeal to that group of people too. But as a whole, most of the people in the world do not know how to use the bow drill divot. They don't know what woods to even use to do that, or how to even make a bow drill. Like I said, I've been an outdoorsman and a woodsman all my life, and I've never needed to use a bow drill for anything in my whole life. And I've done a lot of different things and been in some pretty extreme situations as far as that goes. And I've been in the military. I served most of my life in the military as a combat soldier. And this was not something that I've ever needed. So it looks cool. It appeals to that market. But in the end, if you're going to put, hey, Sniperblade Works, if you hear me, if you're going to put a bow drill divot on your knife, put a 90-degree spine on it as well. okay? Because that 90-degree spine will dang serve you way better than this little divot that you put in the knife. It looks cool and it appeals to that crowd, but that 90-degree spine has a lot more value on a blade, and that's my opinion. So there you guys go. Those are my thoughts on this knife. I still think it's a good knife. That, like I said, my only complaint is it doesn't have a 90-degree spine, and the sheath is very well made, so they did a really good job with that as well. So if you guys are interested in this, you can go to their website, which is Sniperblade Works, or you can go to Smoky Mountain Knife Works. That's where I found this, and you can check it out. And if you want one, pick it up. I know as of today, because I looked on the website, Smoky Mountain Knife Works has these on sale for $169 right now. This black one, anyway. And that's what I paid for it when I bought mine. I bought it at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. So there you guys go. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it and tell me what you guys think about it. If any of you guys have it, what you're using it for, if you like it, if you don't like it. You know, I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to keep using it because I do actually like it. I do like it. I just think that it needs a little, it needs a 90-degree spine, and I have to, you know, work with that edge a little more, you know. I'm a keep it simple, stupid guy, and one of the reasons why I like my Joker knives so much is because they just work really well, and it's not there's not difficulty in getting them to do what I need them to do. But I still think this is a good knife. So anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. And that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button because it definitely helps my channel. I don't care if you hit the notification button, but that like and subscribe is really big to help out the channel. And I hope you guys had a good start to your new year in 2024. And hopefully this is going to be a good year. So you guys take care, and we will see you on the next video.